Previously on LEGO Survivor. After Zoe's elimination, Laura and Buck had a talk about it. They also talked about the fact that they still have their idols. But when Jeffrey overheard this got him worried, so he confronted Chris about this to see if they can turn the tides on Buck instead. At the immunity challenge, Jeffrey won his first individual immunity challenge. And back at camp, he convinced Dave and Claire to vote with him and Chris. They definitely considered it, and at Tribal Council, Jeffrey got his way, and ultimately, Buck was eliminated from the game with an idol in his pocket, and he joined the jury. With Buck's elimination, the castaway count drops to 6. Who will be voted out next? So last night, my plan went perfectly. Buck went home, just like what I wanted, because he had an idol, and that was starting to become dangerous. So, yeah, now we only have 2 idols to deal with. Not like that's not a big deal, because it is. Well, the plan went perfectly. Yep, he's gone. Still think we should have gotten rid of Dave. I mean, he's a bigger threat than Buck, so that may be an issue going forward. Yeah, but we got an idol out of the game, because 3 idols at the final 6 would have been even more dangerous. I guess you're right. So, what's going on? Well, it's just last night. I just don't understand right now. So I'm really annoyed right now because Chris and Jeffrey, my 2 allies, went behind my back and voted off Jeffrey. My only guess is the reason why they didn't tell me is because they thought that I was going to tell Buck and that he would have played his idol. But it's not like they were going to go home. Like, Dave was still the target. But they had to go out and do this whole thing. Now I don't think I can trust them anymore. I can tell that Laura's definitely disappointed because her 2 close allies, Jeffrey and Chris, went against her. I'm more disappointed that I wasn't in the majority, not even by a long stretch. Like, I voted Chris, and it was a 4-2-1 vote, and I was the only one who voted Chris. But I'm not going to tell Laura that because I'm still thinking she still has trust with the 2, and I feel like if I tell her, she's just going to tell the other 2 and probably try and get me out. Well, guess you gotta move forward, right? Yeah, I still have my idol, so that's good. Alright, well, if it makes you happy, I'll vote Dave off with you. Okay, great. I'm still kind of puzzling whether or not that was a good move or not. Well, to me, I think it was, because right now, the main target is Chris. Really? Chris is still the target? Yes, he won immunity before. Dave, you're forgetting that Jeffrey also won immunity. And based on what happened last night, I feel like all this is his doing. Well, I mean, he did tell me that that was the plan. But now that makes Jeffrey dangerous. We gotta vote him off. But we literally just worked with them. We can keep this going up until, like, the final 5. At this point, I'm fed up with Dave. You know, he's not thinking logically because he's not considering other people's opinions. Like, Jeffrey made a big move last night after, like, being an absolute nothing the past couple of days, and there's no telling how far he's going to go with that. But Dave doesn't want to go after him. He still wants it to be Chris. Even though Jeffrey and Chris literally won the same amount of immunities. Which makes no sense. So, yeah. So, I feel like I have to cut off Jeffrey from the game. And then afterwards, I have to cut Dave from this game. Because if he's not willing to consider my offer at getting rid of Jeffrey, I feel like there's no point of working with him. Welcome to your next immunity challenge. For this challenge, you will race down to try and pick up one of these white rocks. The first 4 to get it, the other 2 are out. We'll go again with only 2, and then the other 2 will be out, and then the last one will be a race to get 1, and then the person who gets the last one wins immunity, safe from the vote, guaranteed a spot in the final 5. Losers Tribal Council, someone will be the 11th person voted out and the 5th member of the jury. Seems simple? Let's get started. Here we go. For immunity, survivors ready? Go! Chris dashing quickly out with Michelle in the back. Chris is in the position to get the first rock. Chris gets the rock. Michelle falls in the back. And looks like Laura and Dave are nearing to get their rocks. Jeffrey and Claire nearing to the final rock. Who's gonna get it? And Jeffrey gets it just before Claire can get to it. Claire and Michelle, you 2 are out. 4 battling out to get 2 rocks. Survivors ready? Go! This time Laura's dashing out and the 3 guys staying kind of close. Laura almost at the rocks. The 3 men battling it out for this rock. Who's gonna get it? The 3 men battling it out for the last rock. Who's gonna get it? And Dave gets it. Jeffrey, Chris, you 2 are out. The final battle will be Laura and Dave. Dave and Laura battling it out for the final rock and immunity. For immunity, survivors ready? Go! Both of them keeping up at same paces. They're both so close to the rock, but who is going to get it? And Laura beats Dave in the race. Laura wins immunity, safe from the vote. Congratulations, Laura. You've won immunity. You're safe from the vote. Guaranteed a spot in the final 5. The others, you have a chance at being voted out. Head back to camp. Winning immunity again is really good, you know, but now I'm wondering, am I going to be viewed as a threat since I've won 2 immunities already? I don't know. Once again, I do horrible in immunity challenges. But at least people aren't going to view me as a threat. So, yeah. Should be set on getting rid of Dave tonight. Nice job on immunity, Laura. Thanks. Yeah, as you can see, I kind of am not the best in challenges. Yeah, well, I don't think you're going home. Alright, well, are you good with Dave going? Yeah, he should be going home. We just gotta get Jeffrey and Chris on board. Alright then. We need your confirmation that you're with us on voting off Dave. Yeah, we are. Should be going home. Gonna be glad to see him gone. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we all are. Except for Claire. I don't know how she can stand him. Yeah. Come on, you have to vote Jeffrey. Why? He's not even a threat. He won immunity. Chris won immunity, and yet you're still thinking Chris is the bigger threat. Like, Jeffrey clearly was the one who was basically the whole reason Buck went home. And if he's starting to be this strategic at the end of the game, there's no telling what he's going to do in the future. I don't know. I really want Chris gone. Well, I do too, but right now it's just best to get rid of Jeffrey. Claire wants to vote Jeffrey off, which I understand why, because of the whole move he made and the fact that he won immunity before. But Chris is still my prime directive. I mean, he's literally one of the bigger threats here. Aside from me, of course, and Laura, I guess, but we can't vote Laura off because Laura won immunity. So, Chris is right now my best option, but I may consider voting Jeffrey, but I am not going to guarantee that I'm going to vote him off. I really hope Dave goes with the plan at voting Jeffrey off, because once Dave votes Jeffrey off, I'm pretty much just done with Dave, because I don't want to work with him anymore. He's the biggest threat in the game. He is just not caring about what other people think. He's not considering it wisely. So, yeah. Hopefully Jeffrey's the one going, but I don't know. The one thing I'm worried about is the fact that Dave still has the idol and he could play it tonight. Yeah, that's true, but we gotta go into tribal council and hope that he doesn't get the idea that we're trying to vote him off and we can have an easy vote. Yeah, I guess. Not gonna lie, I'm feeling a little nervous, so maybe I was thinking we could try and split the vote. However, I don't trust Michelle. I trust Laura and I trust Chris, but I don't trust Michelle. So I have to talk to the other two to convince that we're going to tie a vote, but then we're just going to turn the tides. Hopefully it works. Alright, I want you two to vote with me, because if you vote with me, we can tie up a vote, and we won't have to risk using an idol. What do you mean, risk using an idol? Are they voting for me? Yeah, they are. Are you kidding me? Yeah, well, I'm not. Actually, yes, I am. So, I think we should vote Michelle off. But why? Think about it. What has Michelle done in this whole game? She's done absolutely nothing this whole game. She's been just being there. All she does is just float around the game and do very horrible immunity challenges. Like, I don't trust her. I feel like all she's just going to do is float her way to the end, and she just doesn't really deserve to be in the game anymore. Guess you got a point. Alright then. There's no saying that Jeffrey is sticking with his word. Like, who knows? He may be plotting behind our backs and trying to actually get me out. Now that makes me even more paranoid going into tonight. So, I might have to use my idol, I might not. We'll see what happens. Welcome to another tribal council. First things first, let's bring in the members of the jury. Joey, Monica, Zoe, and Buck voted out at the last tribal council. So, Laura, winning your second immunity win, how does it feel winning immunity again, knowing that we're so close to the end of the game? Well, knowing that I have 6 days left to make it into the finale feels really great. You know, going to the final 5 is always amazing. See how everything goes from there. Alright, Dave. So far in immunity, everyone except for Michelle and Claire have won immunity. And Laura won immunity twice. What does that say? Well, it may say that specific people who you may mark as physical threats may not be the physical threats you may think of. Jeffrey, do you agree with that? I mean, yeah, because, I won an immunity, Dave won an immunity, Chris has won immunity, these two haven't, and Laura won immunity twice. So yeah, maybe targets may differ after tonight, but who knows. Alright, with that out of the way, it's time to vote. Michelle, you're starting us off. Sorry, but this is just the way it goes. If I want to make it into the finale, I gotta get rid of a big threat. You're the biggest threat right now. If you make it through tonight's tribal council, that's fine. But you won't make it through the next tribal. Alright, if anybody has a hidden immunity idol and you want to play it, now is the time to do so. Yeah, Jeff. I think this is long overdue, but I'm gonna play it safe tonight. We'll see how it goes tonight, Jeff. I'm gonna be playing it for myself tonight. Alright, thank you. This is a hidden immunity idol. Any votes that cast for Dave will no longer count. I'll read the votes. First vote. Dave does not count. Dave does not count. Dave does not count. That's 3 votes for Dave and none of them count. 3 votes left. Fourth vote. Dave does not count. That's 4 votes Dave, none of them count. No votes anybody, 2 votes left. Fifth vote. Jeffrey. That's 1 vote for Jeffrey, 1 vote left. 11th person voted out And the fifth member of the jury, Jeffrey. Jeffrey, that's 2 votes. That's enough for tonight. You need to bring me your torch. Jeffrey, the tribe has spoken. Time for you to go. Well, that certainly is a bummer. Right as my game started to finally take off, I get blindsided. I didn't see that really coming, though. Why shouldn't I have not seen that coming? Should have split the vote at least, but we didn't, so that kind of screwed everything up. Dang. It was a good move on Dave's part, but yeah, now I'm out of the game. Such a shame that when my game started to take a rise, I took the fall.